It's like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur.
Are we ever going to get the fights we want? I mean, is everybody DuckTales right now? I'm just saying, this is a segment of DuckTales just because I'm saying every fighter's talking all that ish on X, but they ain't fighting nobody. So we just gonna go down the list, and we might have a couple series of this. I might do some videos with myself, or the Uncle Money do it with me. Either way, I had to get this because there's a lot of ducking going on, a lot of waiting going on, and we ain't getting no fights we won in boxing. That's why UFC is winning, and that's why AP is trying to study some USC. But
Thank you, man. I've been telling you, man.
yeah, but this cell is DuckTales and everybody ducking. Are we gonna get the fights we want? Because I'm talking about Shakur Stevenson. I know, everybody thinks I get on him so much, but before Shakur
Pause.
Stevenson, pause. Before Shakur Stevenson went to Matchroom and got this 2-fight deal, he was talking all that mess to get Tank Davis all the time. He just talking left and right, saying that he wants to fight with Tank Davis. But why would you sign the Matchroom? You can't say you want to Tank Davis for 3 years and then go to Matchroom because we all know promotional companies. That's why that's why Devin Haney had to go to Top Rank to get the belts with George Kambosa because promotional companies are trying to keep stuff in house. So you want Tank Davis, but the route that you're taking doesn't want Tank Davis. So we're gonna go by your actions, Shakur. You say you want Tank Davis, but you're not going to PBC. You're not doing anything to actually secure that fight. Yeah, I did
Just
that. But it's crazy because you don't say your hand hurt. That's why you need to get a fight in. Because Earl Spence flew out a car and fought Danny Garcia, and Earl Spence is a real dog. Even though he lost against Terrence Bud Crawford, he at least tried to make the fights that happen. You're young, Shakur. You heal faster than Earl Spence that flew out a car. Let's make these fights happen. It's crazy, Shakur. You went to Matchroom. Now you're not getting the Zepeda fight because Zepeda said his hand hurt. I feel he's ducking too, just because he got knocked down by Tevin Farmer. So I'm just saying, like, is boxing ever going to get the fights that the fans want? Is that going to happen, Uncle Money? Like, all these young fighters are not fighting nobody but getting old. So what are we going to do?
I mean, here's the thing, man. We got to start blaming, the cause of this. And I always like to put blame on these promoters because they're the ones. It's everyone's fault. All right, it's everyone's fault. So we're gonna start with the promoters. It's the promoters' fault because these promoters are the ones that don't want to work with each other. They want to be picky. They want to be selfish instead of working together to make things happen. This promotion A doesn't want to work with promotion B, and there's too many promotions. That's the biggest problem with boxing. It's too many doggone promotions, too many doggone belts. And then we got to get on the fighters. Back in the day, everyone fought each other. I did a poll on Instagram and I said which era of boxing, of heavyweight boxing, was the best: the '70s, the '90s, the 2010s. Most people voted the '90s. I think you voted the '70s, right? You voted the '70s. I personally think the '70s, but we can all agree the 2010 suck. And the reason that the 2010 suck because Fury, Wilder, and Anthony Joshua, they didn't fight each other. Okay, Fury and Wilder fought 3 times, but why didn't we see Fury and Joshua? Why didn't we see Wilder and Joshua? Why aren't these guys fighting each other? They talk all this stuff on X. No one's fighting each other. And it's the problem. These people don't want to fight each other because they're too concerned with their O and they're too concerned with, being undefeated. And another I gotta blame the boxing community because the MMA community, you can lose, they'll still love you. Nate, how many times has Nate Diaz lost? Nate Diaz is always getting his ass whooped, but they love Nate Diaz. In the boxing, you lose one fight, all of a sudden you're a bum. You're washed up. Like that's not realistic. Everyone, Floyd is the exception, but everyone lose. So it's a combination of just the sport in general as a whole. Will we ever see the best fight the best? I hate to say it because I'm sick of the meat riding, but maybe Turkey is the guy to get these guys to fight because the money he's throwing out there. I mean, who gonna say no to it?
Well, I used to be heavy on the promoters. That's why they're not. No, people are not fighting when they need to fight. But when I feel like when boxers have opportunities to re-sign contracts and they decide to go to a promotion company that's not going to work best to the roadmap that you want to the people that you want to fight, then I had to blame solely on the boxers. Like Shakur Stevenson, he stayed with Top Rank, just like Terrence Bud Crawford. And you see how his career is. His resume is not where it should be. But then when he had the chance to get out of Top Rank, he makes a decision that doesn't give him the chance to actually make those big fights. One thing I can say about Devin Haney, he fought those fights. Like he has one of the best resumes um, as those young people because he fought the fights. He signed the contracts, those two fight contracts to the people that he needed to fight to get those belts or get those names on them. Even I had to get Teofimo Lopez. He has a good resume too. He stayed with Top Rank, but if he can get those fights in Top Rank, and he was with Top Rank just like Shakur was, then there's no excuse. And then you have Turkish with the money. Like I'm just saying that Shakur is making those decisions, and he had the opportunity. And my thing is, boxers, if you're not going to be, if you know, it's common sense. If you know that your promotional company won't do those fights, stop calling out other fighters that's not in your promotional company because I know you're clout chasing, but it's annoying for the fans. I'm speaking for fans because we know
Yeah,
you can't fight them like Keyshawn Davis.
yeah.
We know you're not going to fight Tank Davis unless because you're not on the same promotional company. Unless you leave your promotional company or your promotional company says, okay, I'm going to risk you going over there to PBC. And they get paid regardless you go over there. But my thing is, stop calling out fighters that it's not on your promotional company unless you're like in that match room kind of thing that can work. But it's just annoying for fans because it looks like the other person ducking or whatever, but we know that promotional companies is a big hindrance. So just stop calling them out. Fight who you can fight and just call it a wrap. Even and also I didn't need to stop with those young upcoming fighters that are on the same promotional company call you out. Oh, he's not ready. I don't care no more. Like if they're not ready or not. Like Kid Austin wants to fight Shakur Stevenson, and he's like, "Oh, they're not ready." Or Keyshawn Davis wants people call people not ready. Nah, y'all need to fight the fighters with names that you can, because stop waiting until they get a belt or whatever. Because we don't know if you're the best no more. Because you duck when you have somebody that you can fight when everybody's free, and even Lomachenko ducked Tank Davis. Oh, I'm gonna retire. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like it's just annoying for fans. And I'm telling you, I'm having a series of DuckTales, and I'm gonna break each one of these down because these fighters are not for the fans no more. These fighters are about getting this paid. There's a lot of Twitter clout chasing. I'm tired of social media clout chasing. Be a grown man and make these fights. These little kitty, oh, I'm gonna fight you. You suck. I'm the best. Doesn't matter. Nah, you're not the best. You ain't the best until I see these names pop up on your list. Cause you're just getting older and nothing's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at this point, it's a waste of time, man. And like you mentioned, if you're not with the same promotion, there's no reason to sit here and call out. Like it's annoying when we see, let's say like a someone boxer, hey, call out this UFC fighter. Why? It's not going to happen. But what we have noticed with these past years is that if you want it, it can happen. Floyd and Connor, did we ever think that would happen? No, but guess what? They made it happen. And even Spence and Crawford, a fight that should have happened long before it happened, but these two actually said, "Hey, forget y'all. We not dealing with we're not dealing with the middleman. We gonna contact directly." So if you really if there's when there's a will, there's a way. That's it. When there's a will, there's a way. If you really want it, you can make it happen.
But to see what the ones you named, Floyd had the money, which so basically you have the big bag. So if the big bag calls you out, take the fight. I don't care if you're ready or not. When Tank said he'll take that fight with Shakur, don't put him on hold. Just take the money. Like then go fight Tank. He's the big bag. Or Devin when he had all three belts. Y'all was on the same promotional company for a brief time. He ain't paying, he ain't gonna pay me that. Or I ain't gonna pay. No, take risk and take those belts if you really that good. And then Canelo Alvarez, he does the DuckTales too. Well, if if um if Canelo, you the big money bag and you want to be the face of boxing, you know what you need to do? Since you the big money bag, make the fights happen because they're gonna take that big bag. That's what I'm saying. Like if you the big money bag and if you're the name and you got Turkish, you can make big money. But stop calling yourself
He
the
ain't he
face.
ain't dealing with Turkey. he
Um,
ain't dealing with I think he
yeah.
cursed out Turkey or something.
But I'm saying you're the one who know you're carrying boxing. You have a responsibility to make big fights. That's what's going to keep boxing surviving for the future boxers that are looking up to you, Canelo, because he does Ducktales too, Duck and David Benavidez. You had opportunities on the PBC, and you like it's just crazy. Like all these people have opportunities to make fights that people can have, the fights for fans can that they want. But we got some boxers that do. We got Devin Haney, T.O. They make fights that we like. But other than that, like all these big names need to make these fights happen. Tank, you big money, you need to make these fights happen. Canelo, you big money, you make these fights happen. Shakur, you got Turkish on your back. You need to make these fights happen. At the end of the day, y'all the future of boxing, and y'all gonna make it die because nobody cares about what bag you getting because we pay your salary by looking at these fights, and you gonna stay being horrible pay per view stars. Just like Terrence Bud Crawford, man, he ain't ducking nobody, but you need to make fights that happen if you're gonna box. If you're going to be in the boxing entertainment business, I don't care about your retirement plan. You are in a boxing entertainment business. I don't need no kind of, I need some fights. I earned my way up here. No, it doesn't work that way because y'all been giving us the shittiest fights besides one or two than that we ever had. Like it didn't do boxing history. So you didn't earn that. You need to keep on consistently. If you want to box, fight the best. Because if you want to think you're the best, and that's how we need. That's all we need because we don't need anything else because your retirement plan doesn't work for me. You don't pay my bills. We over here buying your pay-per-views. We're over here supporting you, but you're not doing anything for the fans besides giving us these dumb fights like Tank Davis fighting Roach. Who gives a fuck who's fighting Roach? Like, nobody half the boxing community, unless you're a hardcore boxing fan, actually knows who's the person he's fighting. Like, nobody cares about that. And y'all can hate on Devin Haney. Y'all can hate on the Ryan Garcia. Ryan fights people too. Like support the people who fight. I don't care if they win, lose, or draw. Support the people that fight. People that we
That
want to see.
and that's what's wrong with this boxing community because y'all don't want to show support of like I mentioned earlier, a guy loses, y'all label him washed up, bum, retire. And it's like, yo, didn't y'all love Muhammad Ali so damn much? Didn't he lose? As Floyd likes to say, he lost to a guy with 7 fights. Mike Tyson lost, Sugar Ray Robertson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns, Hagler, all these guys lost, man. And as I mentioned in UFC, a lot of those guys they lose. But the problem is, man, like just the fans. Like I told you, I'm blaming everyone. Like
Mm.
show don't like show support. If the guy fights, win, lose or draw, and he puts on a show, rock with him. If he puts on a show,
Yeah, and there's certain content creators too have to be held accountable too. I mean, they make some good content, but there's certain boxing content creators that we need to actually hold accountable, like they are trying to be matchmakers, that they report and be like, "Oh, this company did bad matchmaking," but they did bad. No, it's not about matchmaking fights that you can win. That's not about boxing. Nobody cares about that no more. Matchmaking fights that you can win is killing boxing. We need to actually matchmake fights that actually are good people, upcoming people, whatever like that. You hear content creators on boxing. I'm getting on them too because they're hurting boxing as well. Of Top Rank did bad matchmaking with not talking about Top Rank. The Zone when Zepeda fought Terrence Farmer and it was hard for Zepeda. They just gave him a tune-up fight. No, you don't need a tune-up fight because I'm tired of seeing he's getting him somebody he know he can win against. Like that don't make sense. This is prize fighting. We want to see good fights, but we want to see who's actually the best. That's the quality of fights we want. And I'm speaking for my fans and all of our viewers, man, because they want to see great fights. Because that's why they look at our channel. But I'm gonna digress. I move on. That's all I said. I said we're gonna have a series of this DuckTales. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna be the Spectre Gadget in this bitch, and then we're gonna make sure that we got everything for our fans so they can see how much these people are ducking, just going for the money, and don't waste your money on these fighters that don't want to fight. the fights that we want.